Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Australian e-commerce drop shipping business for sale in the transportation niche. Created in June 2015, this business makes nearly $2,000 a month in net profit, and the listing number for the site is 40474. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making your buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business, cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Grant. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, Justin. Thanks for having me.
All right, man, let's do a quick summary of the business. It was built in June 2015. As I mentioned, it's a drop shipping business. The monthly revenue is $16,419 a month. That's a 9-month average. You've got expenses at $14,456 a month with net profit of $1,963 a month. Again, that's a 9-month average. Included with the business is all the usual stuff, content files, social media accounts, but you're also going to obviously introduce the buyer to the suppliers, and it includes 1,700 email subscribers on MailChimp. Is that about right?
Yep, sounds about right.
All right, man, let's do a quick kind of rundown on who you are and how you got started building and running online businesses. How'd you get into all this?
Well, sure. Initially, I was looking for a way to sort of make money online, leave my 9-to-5 job. So I ended up getting onto Anton Crayley's dropshipping lifestyle course, actually. And my brother and I, we've since started a number of sites through doing his course.
Yeah, you guys have done, there's a course, Dropship Lifestyle course, which Anton runs. We're buddies, and we got a chance to meet up at the Dropship Lifestyle event. I met your brother. We got to hang out a bit.
Yep.
So, yeah, you guys are basically building out dropshipping businesses on a regular basis, and then depending on kind of where it's at and where you want to go, you're selling some of them. So, for someone who's unfamiliar with what a dropship business is, can you kind of give a breakdown of what that means?
Yeah, sure. Basically what you'd call like a retail shop front. So we sell a product, we don't actually stock it. So how that works is we find a number of suppliers that have the particular product that we want. We have an agreement with them that they will sell it to us on a wholesale basis or a set price. When we do get an order through the website, that then gets forwarded straight to the supplier, and then that supplier sends it directly to our customer. So essentially, we never really have to touch any of the goods, and we get the profit that's left over.
Yeah, it's e-commerce.
That's a basic rundown of how it works.
Yeah, it's e-commerce light, right? So, someone goes to your site, they're buying from you, the manufacturer ships directly to your customer as if the product were coming from you. So it saves you from having to store inventory. It also saves you from having to put a bunch of cash out buying the products and then storing them somewhere and shipping them, because you're collecting the money up front. You then pay the wholesaler and you just keep the profit left over.
Exactly. I mean, we do have businesses that do it both ways. We have products that we actually make ourselves as well. However, we've found the drop shipping model is just much less hands-on and less capital startup.
All right, man, how did you get into this niche in particular? Without giving the exact URL away or the exact product, how did you get into this? Okay,
well, what I will say is it's outdoor related in that niche. So Aussies in general, we absolutely love the outdoors, and anything to do with the outdoors, we are prepared to spend big money on. So that's essentially how we picked this particular niche, but we also thought that it wasn't overcrowded either, and give us a chance to sort of get our foot in the door.
That's one of the things I like about this industry is it's hobbyist related, right? And I love the things that are hobby related, because people are willing to spend more money, right? They worry a little bit less or a little less price sensitive. They want the best, and they're willing to pay a little extra to get all the bells and whistles that come with their hobby niche. So I think that's pretty interesting. Let's talk a little bit about why you're selling the business. I mean, it was only created in June 2015. It's relatively new. Why are you selling now instead of keeping it and growing it out for the next couple of years?
Sure. Okay. Well, we've built a number of online stores as well, both here and in the US. So we do have a steady income and other sites that we do want to continue to grow. However, we've actually started doing what's called FBA, which is Fulfilled by Amazon, for people who don't know what that is. That does take a little bit more capital to start up. So we want to use what's made from the sale and put it into that side of things, so we can build that side of the business as well. But obviously we need a capital injection for that. So we've decided to move this one.
You guys aren't the only ones. I know other people selling drop shipping businesses or just, their Amazon affiliate sites or AdSense sites, and they're getting into the FBA game. And like you said,
Yeah.
it is very capital intensive. I mean, you have to, unlike drop shipping, you have to actually order the product ahead of time. You have to send it to Amazon and then, hope
Yeah.
that it's going to sell. Now, Amazon's a great channel. They've got a bunch of sellers, so it's a relatively interesting business to get started with. But you're right, it
Sure.
requires some capital to get started, so that makes sense.
So that's the main reason.
Let's talk about the history of this business. I mean, it was built in June 2015. Was it an instant success? I mean, were you making money in July, or did it take a couple months to kind of get up to speed?
You know what? It was sort of overnight. However, we finished the website, started a lot of our advertising, and obviously all the AdWords, etc. There was a bit of a lull before the proceedings started, but once we hit sort of maybe the 2 to 3 week mark, we got our first sale, and obviously we were over the moon about that. And they just sort of came thick and fast after that. It just kept on coming and coming, and each one of the weeks that went past, the actual sales continued to grow more and more. So yeah, I guess you could say it sort of happened overnight, but after that initial sort of lull.
Hey, give me an idea as to the average sale price, and then how many orders or how many items someone will buy on average when they buy from you.
Okay, average sale price is around about the $300 mark, I'd say. That's Australian dollars. Typically, people usually only buy one thing off the site. As in our niche, I guess you probably wouldn't need it any more than one.
Yeah.
But however, we do have accessories that often get tacked onto those orders. So that we've added those accessories on after we noticed that only one product was getting sold at any one time. So we thought, look, we're going to try and squeeze a little bit more revenue out of them by adding some more accessories that could go with it in the related niche. So that's worked pretty well.
How many SKUs do you have right now? And then how many suppliers are you working with as well?
Okay, so SKUs, at a guess, I don't know the exact number, it would probably be around about the 50 to 60 mark, around about there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And our suppliers, I think we've got about 6.
Okay, so you've got multiple suppliers, you got 50 to 60 SKUs that people are buying from. In building this business, was it your first site that you guys built, or is this just one of several?
This is the first dropshipping business we've built. My brother and I, we've been in business for the last, 15 years now for ourselves. So we're no stranger to setting up and running businesses, even online. I mean, I've previously set up websites for a clothing brand that I own as well. And that was all sort of... I guess you'd call it preparation for the dropshipping stuff. And Obviously we've learned a hell of a lot coming along the way through the DSL course as well, which I've now implemented into some of my other businesses too.
Is there anything that you learned in building this business that you think will apply to, a future FBA business or their dropshipping sites? Was there any particular kind of aha moment?
Oh, for sure. The optimization of the site and obviously the way that the DSL course teaches you, that can definitely be forwarded on into those other courses. And for people that aren't aware, the FBA, I guess you'd call it the FBA wave that's happening now, is actually, I think, in part, it's sort of been, I guess you call, grown by Michael and Nathan's course, the FBA Empire course as well, which we've also done as well.
Yeah, I talked to them a bit when we met up in Krabi in October, and then emailed them recently talking about that. I mean, there are just a ton of people getting into FBA. I know that the Amazing Seller was one. I know FBA. What is it? FBA Expert? No, FBA Empire.
FBA Empire
is there. So yeah, the FBA businesses are doing quite well. Is there anything you tried with this business, this dropshipping business, that you thought would be a winner that just didn't work for whatever reason?
I guess we sort of, not really. We followed the course pretty closely from what Anton suggested. So I don't think we really tried anything too far out of the box. We have definitely implemented some marketing strategies that have really paid dividends lately. My brother, actually, who does all that sort of things, Clint, he's a whiz on Facebook, so he's definitely been using that to our advantage and at a very low cost, if anything. He's found a very good way to market our website, and we're more than happy to share that with anyone that's interested in buying the site. So.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit in terms of the traffic and earnings. Can you give me a breakdown of what percentage of it is organic, what percentage of it is social, what percentage of it is paid?
Yeah. Okay. Well, to be honest, a lot of our traffic does come through our paid ads. So we definitely wouldn't want to switch them off at any time. As I've just previously touched on, we do get a fair bit of traffic on Facebook as well, but I think the organic and the Facebook traffic are probably on par, but the vast majority of our traffic would be coming through our paid ads.
Gotcha. And then of your expenses, we said $14,456 a month on average.
Yep.
You said about 3,000, I think, is AdWords paid traffic. Is that right?
Or roughly, that's one particular month. But if you averaged it out, it might be probably a little bit less than that.
Gotcha. And then on average, how much are you spending on paid Facebook traffic?
Actually, we don't spend a lot on paid Facebook traffic. Like I said, my brother Clint, he's come up with a very, very cost-effective way to do things. And part of it's actually free, which is really paying dividends.
Cool. And then that'll be obviously passed over to the buyer. He can kind of explain how that's
Of course.
working.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't share it right now with, obviously, because we want to try and keep it to ourselves. It's working so well, but we're more than happy to pass it on.
Cool. And then can you give me a breakdown on like the earnings history? When I look at the graph on the business, I mean, there seems to be some high growth periods. So like when you look from June, let's say, all the way through November, December, and January, there were just a ton of earnings. It dropped down a bit in February. What are you looking at for March? Do you guys have an idea on your numbers for March?
I'd say that they're going to be slightly lower than February, not by a lot, but in Australia, obviously, outdoor-related niches, I guess they are kind of seasonal. I mean, it's always going to go up and down in any business, but I wouldn't say that we're going to have a slump by any means. It's more of a decline just based on the time of the year. But
Gotcha.
We're still making sales, and it's going to be very similar to what those previous numbers were anyway.
Cool. Can you tell me how much content is on the site right now and how much needs to be added on a monthly basis?
Okay. The content on there is basically all done as far as the products, any of the sizing requirements without giving too much away as well. All that's all finished. We obviously like to add new content, usually on a weekly basis, into our blog. So Google obviously likes us for that, for all the fresh content. So they like to see the fresh content, so you stay up in the rankings. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so adding new content. Let's talk about some of the opportunities that are available with this business. If you were not going to sell, if you're going to keep it for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, what would you do to kind of build it out? Where do you see the biggest opportunities, the 80-20 of opportunities, if you will?
I think maybe optimizing the site a little bit further would probably pay dividends, actually. So as far as like SEO goes, we haven't really touched on that too much. We're more focused on driving traffic to the site, but I think the SEO, we've done a lot of on-site SEO. As Anton teaches in the dropshipping course, we've followed that and done other stuff as well. But I think some more SEO work would pay dividends. Also, I think if you could probably build out the catalog a bit more and maybe even add some more products, I think you'd be able to tack on some, like we've already done, some more accessories that are probably a little bit more expensive but are more likely to sell with one of the main products as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big opportunity. I think that opening up the product line a bit, because this is such a hobbyist niche, I mean, there are going to be people that want to buy more. I think that's an opportunity. One of the things I think that you could really do with content with this is because it's a hobbyist niche, I think, and it depends on the buyer and kind of where they want to take it, but I think you could go a little crazy with this. I mean, I think you could even do like a podcast of, and I wish I could talk about the niche, but a podcast where you kind of get into people that are in this space and interview them on kind of like what they're doing and how they do it. I think you could go that far. I mean, you could make this a real hobbyist site. And
Agreed.
I think that would be pretty cool.
It really is a really big industry. Like Australia, we have quite a big population that are interested in this niche as well.
Yeah, when I was a kid, our family was into this too, so I definitely know the space a little bit just from that. So I think there's opportunity there. Do you guys have any abandoned cart emails that go out? Do you have some kind of follow-up that goes on there?
We do, yeah. We have obviously Shopify. They're a great platform. They provide a lot of, which the site's built on, by the way. Cool. They have a lot of great tools in their back end that's forward us any of those abandoned carts, and we can follow up with them. Usually Clint's pretty on the ball when it comes to that. He does a lot of the customer service, and he's a salesman at heart. So generally, he might even ring them sometimes to give them just a quick friendly hello and ask if there was a problem with with the checkout and convert them that way, but often emails do the trick as well.
Let's talk about, I mean, obviously, anyone who knows paid traffic on Facebook, on AdWords, if they're pros in that area or even intermediates, I think they're going to find opportunities to improve. You said that organic, like really focusing on the organic, looking at the keywords in Australia and really building that out. I think that's a good long-term growth strategy. That's not going to get them much in the next 3 months or 6 months. I think the paid traffic they can stick to and optimize. But long term, I think the organic opportunities are big, and that's a great diversification away from just the paid traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I mean, just touching on the paid traffic as well, is we have had the idea to include even banner ads on related websites. As you said, the niche is quite big and it's a hobbyist niche, so I think there'd be plenty of opportunities there for even a small paid banner ad on several decent sites. I mean, we still do retargeting, but I think that would even work as well.
All right, so let's talk about some of the risks with this business. We talked about the opportunities. Let's look at risks. I mean, one of the ones that stands out to me is, and this is true for any, I guess, paid traffic site, is that you have competitors that get in the space and start driving the cost of keywords up, and now all of a sudden you're losing margin. And I'd say the margins are already a little low, so you start getting new competition in the space, and it could be a little dangerous. What do you think about that risk? And then what other risks do you see potentially for this business?
Sure, okay. We actually have had a number of competitors try and come into this space already. Probably pretty lucky, really, when we got into this particular niche. We were among the first few that got into the niche for this and actually contacted the dropshippers. Mm-hmm. So we've got really good personal relationships with these dropshippers, and they have actually backed us and refused a lot of applications, I guess you'd call it, from our competition. So their websites are looking very sparse.
Nice. That's good for you. I guess you guys look like much more of an authority. Let's talk a little bit about the work required for this business. Now, I mean, obviously adding this isn't a requirement. I think you need to add a little bit of content, I think, to kind of like for long-term SEO benefits and like kind of focus on that. I think there's some, I mean, you need to obviously manage the ads, the Facebook ads, and then the AdWords paid traffic. I think that's going to have to be regular basis. And then obviously fulfilling orders as well. Can you tell me a little bit more about that work on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
All right. Our actually business is pretty much broken down into two parts, where my brother does a lot of the customer service, marketing, basically all the other side of the website. I do all the building, maintenance, adding products, etc. So I would estimate that probably around about 1 hour a day would be spent on actually, the day-to-day, and maybe about 2 hours on a Monday when we've had a decent weekend, and then we've got to start, going through all the orders, etc.
Yep.
But a lot of that can be outsourced to a VA, which we haven't actually done yet, basically just because we've been able to do it without too much worry. So, and my side of things, I guess probably only maybe an hour or two a week I spend actually going into the website, doing any sort of maintenance, updating blog posts, changing prices, etc., or even adding a new product.
All right, so most of it sounds like a little bit of customer service, a little bit of pushing the orders through, obviously checking the paid ads, make sure you're still profitable there, and then just kind of and everyone does this. They spend way too much time checking your earnings and checking to see how the sales you got, right?
Exactly.
You're checking on your phone. You're checking. I get it. We all do that.
Yeah, that's right.
So one thing that's interesting, and this is kind of an aside from even the seller interview, but the fact that you guys aren't using a VA, oh my God, you guys need to get on that. Especially you're building all these businesses. I mean, because there's a learning process that comes with bringing on a VA and you working with them, them working for you. So I'm telling you, the sooner you guys do that and kind of like fumble your way through it, because everyone does, right? The better off you're going to be. And it also forces you to start systematizing your business, right? And putting processes in place. And I think you guys should hire now for you got FBA stuff coming up. You got other businesses you're working on. I think it'll be big for you.
Yeah, we've actually spoken about that this week in our team meeting. So I think that'll be one of the first things we do from now on.
All right. And then in terms of like skills that someone needs to have this, I mean, they don't need to be pros at paid traffic. You're going to turn over all the keywords and the account that you have, not the account, but the process you have for AdWords. You're going to turn over the Facebook marketing strategy. One of the questions I have for work required, how many of these deals are done over the phone? So is it always like just ordered straight up, or are you ever getting on the phone and trying to like walk them through the process? Like what percentage of sales do you think are done over the phone?
At least 20% of sales that come through would be over the phone.
So what percentage of sales do you think are just they go to the site and they order straight up? I mean, some of them have email questions, maybe another 20, 30%, but how many, maybe 50% just go to the site straight up?
I'd probably say even more than that. Like I said, there are phone orders, but they're the only ones that don't really go through and just purchase something. We don't often get emails with questions, maybe 5%, 10%, if that. The other 20% would be phone calls. The rest just go and buy.
Cool. Another interesting thing I think you put live chat on there, especially, people seem to get hung up on the cart page or something, and you could have your VA help with that and, try to guide them through the process. So that'd be pretty cool.
We've included an answering service on our phone too, just in case we don't get to it, because then we can at least capture their mobile phone number or email and get back to them with their inquiry.
Cool. All right, so let me ask some additional information that a buyer may want to know. And one of the things I want to know is I don't want to buy this business from you and have you turn around a month later and compete and create a competing site in the exact same niche. Would you guys be willing to sign a non-compete for this specific niche?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's really quite a harsh thing to do to anyone. So if anyone's going to be purchasing our website, they've got absolutely no worries about that. We'd definitely be going through the non-disclosure.
Cool. And then in terms of support, right, if I'm buying this business, a couple of things in particular I want to make sure I get down: your Facebook ads, your AdWords advertising. I want to, an introduction to the suppliers. There's going to be a few things we need to get through. You said in the listing you're going to offer 60 days of email and call support. So it looks like you're pretty open to kind of getting the new buyer on board with 60 days support. It's pretty good.
Like with any business, and with buying anything in general, I find it really frustrating if you can't get in contact with the person that's sold you the product or service. So I'm more than happy to help them out for that period of time, just to make sure that they've continued the business on the same level as we have, maybe even with some suggestions on how to grow it even further. So we're happy to do that.
Cool. And then, one of the other things, as a buyer or as a seller, obviously, if someone comes in with a 100% cash offer, that's going to be your highest and best offer. If someone else came across, and I might do this as a buyer, I may say, look, I like this business, but, and I trust your support, but I want to pay, let's say 70% up front, and I want to pay 30% after 30 days of training. And that's just because I want to make sure that the Facebook and the AdWords training is done. Or if someone said, look, your business is relatively new, I want to make sure that, I'm going to get some value. I'll pay you 70% up front, and I'll pay you 5% a month over the next, 6 months, just to make sure that the earnings and the business continues. Is that something you'd be open to?
We were more than happy to be looking at that, Justin. So we know our website's, it's a good website and the earnings are quite stable. So we'd be more than happy to look at something like that. So.
Awesome, man. All right, Grant. So let's do a quick wrap up of the business. And as I said before, it's in the transportation niche. It's an e-commerce drop shipping business based out of Australia. It's built in June 2015. The monthly revenue is $16,419. That's a 9-month average. Expenses per month, $14,456, of which about $3,000 or so is probably paid traffic. Net profit of $1,963 a month. Again, that's a 9-month average. So about $2,000 a month in net profit. Includes the site, all the information on there, the social media accounts, introduction to the suppliers. I think you said you had 6. You've got 40 to 50 SKUs, and then you've got about 1,700 email subscribers included. Are you actually emailing them on a regular basis right now?
We do, yeah. Actually, I've got a note here from Clint. I think that the email list actually might be a bit larger than that, around 2,500 as far as I can tell from his note. But we do email them on a regular basis, and that usually does pay dividends. So
it's worth doing.
I'm confident to say that's worth something.
Awesome. All right, Grant, if you could give me your best pitch in the next 30 seconds or so on why someone should purchase this business, what would it be?
Okay. Well, we've set this business up so it's easy to run. Obviously, we've done all the work to get it to where it is now. All that's required from here is probably a little bit more development in the areas that we've already spoken about, and the ongoing maintenance, of course. But it's got lots of potential because the particular niche that we're going into, it actually is probably mostly supported by the aging population that's here in Australia, so which would be the baby boomers. And probably the vast majority of them will be retiring over the next 5 to 10 years. So this website is poised to be right on the edge of that boom.
Awesome, Grant. For anyone listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're seeing this somewhere else, you can look down below. There'll be a link to empireflippers.com. It'll take you to the listing. Listing number is 40474. And you can look at screenshots of earnings. You can get more information about this business. If you're on the listing page and you're looking at that information, but you want all the details, you want the URL, you want the niche, you want detailed earnings, you want traffic reports, all of that, you can pay a fully refundable deposit up on the top right-hand side of the listing page. Pay that deposit. We'll send you that information. We'll even put you in contact with Grant and Clint so you can get all your questions answered. You can do a full due diligence to see if this purchase is right for you. Grant, thanks again so much for coming on.
You're welcome, Justin. Thanks for having me on.